Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are Random Encounter Productions. I'm Cody Stone, and with me tonight we have that's you, Ash. That's you.
Hello, my name is Justin. I'm playing Ash, who's in this game. I'm incredibly awkward. I'm usually a DM over at the Drunk Drawer Show. If you want to check us out, drunkdrawershow.com.
So don't feel bad. You just fell prey to the your first time on the channel hazing here at Rep. We always introduce just immediately to whoever's reading order from me. We never warn the person who that is, and we always just sort of see how it goes. So you did absolutely nothing wrong. Margaret Peggy Williams down in the bottom, you got off easy. And thank you so much, Deadman, for all of your gifted subs. That is tremendously kind of you, and as always, thank you so much. But let's continue to meet our cast for this evening and for our ongoing adventure. Up next, we have.
Are you going in counterclockwise?
I'm going on reading order from what I see on the stream. So you're up.
Oh, reading order?
Yeah, reading counterclockwise.
We used to do it in a circle. Didn't we used to do it in a circle?
When we were at a table in a circle.
No, I thought when we first... whatever.
Yeah, in a circle. You are the next person in the circle.
It goes Ash, then Gina, then Margaret, then me. That is the circle, but whatever. It's fine. Hello, I'm Caitlin. I am not Pixie Caitlin. I'm another Caitlin, and I will be playing Evelyn/Evie for this game. Aside from this, sometimes I pop onto Gloomhaven with these crazy kids on Tuesdays, and I also am consistently streaming Horizon Forbidden West at the moment on my own channel, Crimson Shield Scholar. Good times.
Very cool. Up next we have...
I am Corey, also Silent Fox, been around just a little bit, and I am going to be playing Dr. Regina, or Gina Travers.
Yes, awesome. Sounds good. And last but not least, we have...
I'm Blondie, and I will be playing Margaret Peggy Williams tonight. Hello.
Awesome. that sounds good. If you guys want to share what archetype you are, that is a-okay. We are playing Pulp Cthulhu. This is our first adventure for pretty much all of us, using not only the Call of Cthulhu system, but also playing with the pulp rules and variants, so a little more action. Massive Nyarlahotep is the campaign we are going to be running. So we're going to start in the prologue, and we'll see how long our investigators last. Masks is a notoriously dangerous campaign as far as in the Call of Cthulhu mythos. But beyond that, the pulp variant gives our investigators a little more opportunity to fight back, and survive. And everybody does have a next of kin, right? You guys got somebody that cares enough about you that when you die and or go insane, you're gonna bring in another investigator. All right. Well, Evie's gonna count on making a friend then on the trip. So that is going to be that. We are doing some, because it is Call of Cthulhu, we do need to take a moment and go through a couple of disclaimers, but I'm going to do those right before we jump into the adventure. Other than that, we have a ton of friends. I'm not going to spend too long doing the shout outs, but definitely check out what is it? Wow. NorseFoundry.com, and with the promo code REPRPG, REPRPG, as well as the Endless Bag of Dice, or Critical Dice, the Critical Dice, with the promo code REPRPG as well. And if you follow the links, you can get discounts off of your orders. Helps out the channel. So yeah, definitely check all of that out. So, disclaimer. Call of Cthulhu is based on the works of H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft was born in 1890s, was lived and raised into the 20s and 30s, a seminal author of psychological horror, and a terrible human being. An absolute bigot, racist, and awful individual.
Misogynist.
Say what?
Misogynist.
Misogynist as well. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's the word you're looking for.
Yes, thank you. A lot of what inspires his horror, the idea of aliens from beyond the stars, is his own mental reaction to being in New York, a place of diversity in a time in which that diversity was growing, and should not be applauded or lauded for pretty much anything. But the basic idea that he had come up with of a reality beyond what we can comprehend, of focusing on horror that reduces the human experience to something of being insignificant, is a fear and dread that rings in all of us, and who should be applauded are the number of authors who have taken that basic work and expanded the greater mythos over the past 100 years. And so every week, I didn't do it this week, but I'm gonna try to find some decent human beings that have expanded the mythos, and try to highlight them for you. So do note, the roots of this are awful. We will do our best not to applaud Lovecraft in any real way, shape, fashion, or form, but I think there is a universality in the terror that he was able to tap into. Speaking of which, all Call of Cthulhu games involve a stat called Sanity. This is not to be confused with true mental health, nor should the mechanical game symptoms that are built into the system or displayed be considered true representations of mental illness or mental wellness, the ability to cope with, comprehend, or move past. Our characters will experience losses of sanity, bouts of quote-unquote madness, in which their characters will, the players will lose control of the character's actions and abilities. They may develop phobias or manias that last for days, weeks, months, or indefinitely. This is the Call of Cthulhu system was started in the 1980s, following the birth of D&D, and it pulls a lot. It's a 1980s sensibility of a lot of 1920s psychotherapy. So, not real on the nose is what I'm trying to say. But please note that we are taking it as acts of fiction. The idea of sanity presented in the Call of Cthulhu game is sort of like being able to see the Matrix. Sanity is it describes it as the collected acceptance by humans of what is happening around them, and insanity is glimpsing at the truth of what is really there. So seeing the Matrix, or that weird scene in Men in Black 2, in which Tommy Lee Jones is watching the aliens ride the tandem bike together, and seeing all of that. So that is our version of Sanity and Insanity. Any bouts of mania or phobias purely based on the human mind reacting to that. So please do keep that in mind. We're going to do our best to handle everything as responsibly as we can. Because it is Call of Cthulhu, also there are moments of body horror. There are also moments of individuals having their free will subjected. So if these are matters that are difficult for you, we completely understand. Please take the night off. Go enjoy. We love your support. And for all the players, as we have talked about, just to reiterate to you guys, if something's uncomfortable for you, you're all up on my big main screen here. I can see you the whole time. You can give me the little, I don't know how we're feeling, kind of hand wavy to let me know that we're treading in some uncomfortable waters. If any point something is too much, you can give me the good old-fashioned wrestling X, and we will immediately stop the scene. I'll ask you to let me know what part of the scene was uncomfortable for you, so that I don't, I'll do my best to avoid bringing it up in the future, and we will move to a safer point in time. So, with all of that said, is there anything else that you guys as players want to bring up, mention, talk about, anything like that before we dive into tonight's action? Sounds good. Okay, we did the heaviness. We did the heavy stuff. I might try to pre-record that so we can run that as like the pre-show for things in the break. But let's get into tonight's adventure as Rep RPG plays The Masks of Nyarlahotep, Prologue, Peru, Part 1. Each of you are inquisitive spirits, individuals who have never been completely satisfied with life as it is. You are adventurous souls. You are people inspired by this bold new century. And just a few years past the First World War, the Great War, excuse me. Y'all don't know there's another one coming. Let me, that was presumptuous of me. The Great War. A few years past the Great War, it is an age of jazz. It is an age of vibrancy. 1921, and the world has opened up as steamboat travel, limited cargo plane travel, all of these former distant and far off lands are becoming just a little bit closer. Not easy to reach by any means, but the secrets that lie in those jungles, in the deserts, and in the far off distant lands are ever so slowly coming to light. Each of you have been invited to and received an instrument, a call to travel to investigate an ancient pyramid in Peru. This adventure poses the opportunity for you to make some historical discoveries, for you to be part of a potentially famous expedition, as current expeditions are constantly opening pyramids and finding sarcophaguses of pure gold and diamonds, and so the monetary value that is there is tremendous. in and of itself, but beyond that, the chance to have your name be associated with something history making is another potential draw. You all have traveled to Peru from your varying states and countries, and it is, I am not mistaken, make sure I have my date right. You have arrived the morning of March 18th. You are set to meet your proprietor, your expedition leader, and founder, one Augustus Larkin, at the Bar Cordano in the center of Lima, which is the capital city of Peru. Your first impressions as you make your way here to an important port for all of South America is that it is vibrant and busy, but a bit smaller than you perhaps expected. There is rail cars that run down the streets, and a few autos mix the roadways with horses and buggies. It is a amalgamation of new and old, and definitely a statement on the turning of the most recent century and the light that technology is bringing to these darkest regions of the world. You all have come prepared for an expedition, perhaps not 100%, but you've gathered and brought the things that you thought would be useful. Absolutely. Is there anything that is super emergency important you do before dinner? I don't necessarily suspect so, but I want to give you guys, the players, the opportunity. Awesome. Who among you is an early bird? All right. Evelyn.
Definitely.
You are first to arrive, and if the meeting is set for 7 p.m., what time does Evie get to the Bar Cordano?
6:45.
6:45. Absolutely. Would you give us a moment and describe yourself for us?
Sure. I put absolutely no thought into this, so I basically just recreated Evie from the Mummy movies.
Okay.
So just think of that as the face claim, Rachel Weisz, short, petite, smaller boned, brown curly hair about shoulder length, in the sort of in the style of the day, but definitely able to be put up. She is very aware of first impressions, so even though she would not, this isn't what she would normally wear, she makes sure that she is presented as like somebody who is set to impress somebody. She's not wealthy by any means, but she makes sure this time her clothes are clean, her face is clean, her hands are clean, which is not typically how she lives.
Sounds good. As you make your way into the Bar Cordano, it is in the heart of Lima. It is a part of the one of the hotel districts there. The floors are tiled, and there are raw wood sections on the walls. It is decorated very vibrantly, very much to sort of local custom and taste. Many primary colors, reds, yellows, blues, for murals and art that is up along the walls and everything. And as you look around, there are a few patrons that are there. All of them seem to be locals. You've been in town for a day, and you can already kind of piece together. Most of the people living in Lima at this point in time are of indigenous Euro descent, and then there's a smaller percentage that are of the European Spaniards that were colonizers a few hundred years ago. And then there is a pretty large comparative, I guess about 10-15% of the population is Chinese Japanese. Immigrants come in to work different labor jobs and things like that. So you've kind of gotten a feel for them. But there is one figure that is here that does stand out, and he's sort of speaking with the maitre d' at the host, as it were. A very well-dressed African-American man who's got a pipe that he's just kind of gesturing about with, and speaks with an American accent, and you overhear just the briefest bit of conversation, and they're letting him know that his party's already here. They'll have somebody show him back in just a minute. And all right, I appreciate that. That's not what Jesse Hughes sounds like, man. The name like Jesse Hughes gotta sound like Jesse Hughes, and I apologize. We're gonna be saying a lot of names to remind me what people sound like as we go. What is your occupation, Miss?
Archaeologist.
Archaeologist? Okay.
Mhm.
Would you roll me an education test?
Yes. That's a D8. There we go. Yeah. No. I got 99.
You got you. That's so technically a fumble. In the 95 to 100 range, depending on what your education stat is. I'm gonna say you, to not make this uncomfortable, you look at them, you don't recognize them, and we're just gonna move on.
Yup.
Within a moment, the host comes back and begins to pardon, Mr. Hughes, right this way, and we'll start to lead him back. You do catch his name is Jesse Hughes, and he is led back behind the curtain into the main dining area, and within a few moments, you're escorted to join the table as well. Who is a right on time type of person? Okay. Sounds good, Peggy. So you arrive just a minute before 7. Are you in a hurry, or do you feel comfortable with your timing here?
She's in a hurry.
Okay. Absolutely. So
She's
yeah,
paranoid of being late.
you come up, and the host is there. Pardon, madam. Can I help you?
I'm looking for some people to. I'm meeting up with some people here.
The name?
Larkin.
Larkin. Ah, yes, of course. Right this way. And we'll sort of show you back. As he shows you to the table, it is one of the larger tables here at Bar Cardona. And you see Evie as described. Jesse Hughes, the African-American man, still has his hat on. I don't know why. That's how the art shows him, so he's going to have his hat on. He's got his pipe. And there are 2 other individuals that are sitting at the table. One of them, you suspect, is Augustus Larkin. He is a pale European descent, dressed in a fine linen white suit that is just slightly rumpled around the sleeves. He has blonde hair and blue eyes. His blonde hair is slick, almost as though the pomade just he's used too much of it. Like it'll never dry. Kind of a quality to it, right? And he is sitting there with a broad, huge smile kind of plastered on his face, a small kerchief in his hand, kind of dabbing away a little bit of sweat as he stands to meet you. And rising just a step after him, and Jesse does follow, as is the custom of true gentlemen, is a Spaniard, definitely from continental Spain, little tan, a very Inigo Montoya sort of goatee and mustache, perfectly trimmed and brushed, looking very put together, except for his hair, which is just a bit wild and sort of falling down out of the braid, or the pullback ponytail braid that he has put it in. And so, Augustus Larkin, pleasure to meet you. I'm Mr. Larkin. Please, this is my associate, Mr. Mendoza. Yes. This is Jesse Hughes and Evelyn. Yes. Right? Right. Miss Faust. Fantastic. And you would be...
I'm Margaret. You can call me Peggy Williams.
A pleasure, Miss Williams. Please let me get your chair there. And he'll sort of come around and shuffle out the chair for you. What does Peggy look like?
Peggy is kind of short. She's like 5'4"-ish. She's got crazy curly dark brown hair, and she's got, I guess it would look like a couple day old like oil stains that she really couldn't get off of her from her work. So sure. she's like not as grubby as she usually is, but still a little bit grubby.
Fantastic. So as you take a seat, Larkin will shuffle back about to his spot, and it looks like we're waiting on a few other people. Excuse me. Order of the what is it? The calamari, right? For the table. That's good. And you're not even sure if that was a waiter or if he's just grabbing people and bothering them. But he's paying, and they seem to be responsive in the very least. So my last two souls, you are late risers, and as such coming in a little late to the party. Please tell us what you look like as you come Kramering through the door.
So I basically come bursting through the door of the of where we're meeting, and I'm juggling a bunch of notebooks and folders, and there's paper everywhere. I'm also juggling a camera bag, and I've for some reason taken the camera out of the bag. Don't know why I would do that. But I'm kind of juggling everything, so I kind of roll in a little bit like a blonde hurricane coming in through the front door, and I kind of pull up short next to the maitre d', and I'm supposed to be meeting somebody here.
Larkin, of course, this way.
Yes, thank you. And so and I'm every so often I have to reach back and pick up paper off the floor and like shove it back into the folders and.
Mm-hmm. As this nightmare of paperwork and camera straps comes into the main dining area, Larkin sort of, oh, all right. He kind of forces himself up. Larkin, I should note, is he's not terribly fat. He's also not terribly old. He seems to be in his 30s, maybe 40s at the latest. But the idea and effort seem to be always present when he's getting up and doing things. And so Ash, I believe you're probably coming in right behind her. You probably are picking up some papers of Gina's as she is led into the dining hall. You get the feeling the person that's directing you to is that not the actual like host. They've stepped away for something, so it's just like a busboy or something who's like, white people, there, go.
It's kind of not.
With Gina approaching, the gentlemen rise once more, and of course, hello there, Augustus Larkin. He goes around the table, makes introductions. Please, and whose acquaintance do we have the pleasure of making at this moment?
I definitely kind of like shift everything over to one arm and drop most of it on the floor. I'm Dr. Regina, Dr. Regina Travers. It's nice to finally make your acquaintance.
Pleasure's mine, of course. Yourself, sir.
Yeah. My name is Ashley Sutton. So, I mean, Ash is fine. Private investigator.
Perfect. That is wonderful to have you aboard, Ash. Mr. Sutton. And here, you'll, Ashley, where are you from?
Currently, living in Liverpool.
Okay.
Originally from London.
Make me an education roll.
Sure.
And I will give you... I'm going to give you a bonus die on it. So basically you get to roll with advantage.
Sec. Okay. 48 and 78.
What is your education?
90.
90. So, when you guys are rolling for something, the information that will help me most is not necessarily the number. I'll let you know if I need the specific number. Usually what I'm looking for is fumble, so like a 95 to 100, or 95 to 99, or 100, right? Is a fumble. Failure, just lets me know if you fail. The success, hard success, so if it's under your half, or extreme success, which is under the fifth, or a critical, which is just a 001. So, did you get a hard success?
Yes.
You did.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So it's because it was under.
It was
under half.
Half is 45, so I got a 48, so slightly above the half.
So a regular success.
Regular success.
There you go. And yeah, it should all of your skills should list those as like normal, hard, extreme, right? Cool. So you don't place his accent. It is like English is his first language, but he wasn't born. It's not an accent you recognize from London or Liverpool. Okay. Even if it has sort of those qualities to it.
Got it.
Yeah, because you got a success, but not a hard success. I can tell you that. The whole thing was on a hard, but there we go. You all wait for a few more minutes as Larkin seems to expect potentially one more person to show up, but after a few minutes, he begins preparing to order. He makes sure he recommends a escabeche, a hot, sweet, and sour fish dish. Thank you, game. If anybody would like to participate in that, you are welcome to. That is what Larkin is ordering. And he orders a large portion of it. Mendoza orders some small, like a ceviche sort of appetizer, so not something that is you would think of as like a full meal. Anything in particular you guys are looking to eat? It is on Larkin's dime, so he encourages you to eat whatever is exciting, or whatever's going to steal the stomach of adventure, as it were.
I'm always down to try something new, so I'll try that. What you got?
Yes, the escabeche.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks to Mendoza to see if he said it right. Mendoza doesn't acknowledge him.
I'd like to try it as well. Just a little extra spicy though, please.
All right, more spice on the escabeche.
Do you have anything like beef or anything that I can really just kind of like chew?
Oh yes, I got them to do this the other day. The lamb shanks. Yeah, there you are.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Man after my own heart. I appreciate it. Of you, Miss Faust.
Forgive me, because I don't quite speak Spanish properly, but I believe there's something that I read in a book called ají de gallina? Gallina? Gallona?
Guyana. And the waiter's Guyana. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure,
All
yes,
right.
that.
Great.
I've heard it's all the rage in Lima.
Yeah. And he'll the waiter recognizes what you're asking for and will he's sort of excited that somebody's asking for something he kind of knows, right? He kind of recognizes. So he's like, yeah, great. I'm on board. Let's do it.
He's like, I know what that is.
I got that one. That one I got. There's a full bar. You guys are welcome to have a drink if you would like. You notice that Mendoza is not drinking. Larkin is Jessa Hughes over there is having himself one of them espressos. So wants long flight, trying to stay awake, and dinner is mostly chit chat. You get a little bit of people's histories, and Mendoza is sort of described as the local expert and guide, and Larkin saves his details for after dinner. Jesse's very amicable. You notice Jesse is quick with a joke, but he's otherwise pretty vague on his own details. Is there anything in particular you guys would like to share with the group as we move to the end of dinner?
I'll say halfway through the dinner, eventually Ash will take off his coat and roll up his sleeves, and it looks like there's half of a kind of like a stick tattoo, like just kind of a poke and prod tattoo, along with another completed piece on the other side.
Okay. Sounds good.
I would definitely kind of take notice of that because I kind of enjoy symbols and things. Uh, can I ask you about that?
Oh, yeah, love. These were did some time in Italy, doing kind of like I wouldn't say I was doing exorcisms, but I was definitely helping with exorcisms. It's the seal of Saint Benedict. Yeah,
Exorcisms.
I dabble. It's not the main course there.
I'll kind of look at you and smile a little bit, and then I'll rustle through my stack of papers. I assume you've seen this then, and I will basically hold up a textbook of one of my parapsychology textbooks. Have you ever read this work? It's a fascinating study.
Oh, no. If would you mind if I thumb through a bit?
Oh, absolutely, of course.
I'll wipe my hands on like the tablecloth or my napkin, whichever I have, like immediately.
Sure.
I would say
You'll see it's all marked up. Like as soon as you open it up, like there's just like notes in every margin, and there's big circles around things, and a couple notes that say like tests here. Everybody test on this on the 31st.
I'm just gonna look at the notes and then just look back up at you and go, the librarian know you've been writing around in a book yet?
Oh, of course I bought that one. I needed to keep it around.
Very, very interesting. I was gonna say he's wearing the makes of like a suit, so he has like nice trousers on, but everything seems to be like wrinkled from pushing into a suitcase. So shirt's very wrinkly. The tie's like you could see like a deep fold into it, and this whole dinner he's just been chain smoking. So he's just looking at the book, making sure not to get any foreign substance on it. Yeah, ashes, grease from the lamb, bourbon that he's drinking.
So you've actually seen this type of thing?
Complicated.
Complicated how?
Have I seen people who think that they're possessed? Most certainly. No beds floating or crosses turning upside down while I'm in the room. No, nothing like that. Just a lot of, I think people exerting a lot of negative energy and feelings and just trying to maybe perhaps vent. I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy.
So you flip to a spot in the book, and there's a picture shoved in there, and it is a very, very convincing picture of a young lady with what appears to be a spirit behind her, like looking over her shoulder at the photographer. And when I see that you've flipped to that, I kind of scramble to like grab the picture. Oh, sorry. That's for a client.
Oh, it's for a client. Do you take pictures for clients a lot?
It's kind of a business that I have. It's what got me through school.
All right.
So you've seen that kind of stuff too? I mean,
yes.
You're taking pictures of it, so like, can I see it?
Maybe later, after dinner.
Okay.
All right. Let me describe it to you.
I don't want to get dirty.
So it looks like a girl is looking at the cameraman, and then there's like a white kind of like translucent spirit behind it. Right? That's what it looked like.
mean, I didn't exactly see it. I mean, the camera picks up things that we don't see all the time. I just point the camera in the right directions.
And so pointing it in the right direction and then just kind of happens. Is that your first picture? Or
Oh no, not by any stretch of the imagination.
So
no,
you,
it's
like-
not my first.
You just like know where they're at to get the picture? Like you just like, it's gonna be over here.
Of course, but God tells me, and God tells me what direction to point the camera in, and I do, and these just appear.
Well, that sounds like a wonderful talent we could certainly use on our expedition. There's been, I have to say, the locals are godless heathens as they were, with their own superstitions that have led them to fear the opportunity to acquire quite a bit of wealth and treasure, and that is why I am very, very happy to see such a stalwart crew right here before me. Isn't that right, Mendoza? What was I just saying the other day? As these, misled locals. So,
Does Mendoza seem... Did he react when Ash was talking about exorcisms?
make a psychology check.
Yeah, okay.
For anybody that plays 5th edition, psychology is our insight, is our version of insight to identify motivations or pick up on subtle body language reactions, tell the emotional state of people. That is psychology. There is a different skill called psychoanalysis for things that we would probably think of as psychology. Oh, thank you for the hydrate.
Hey, hydration. Hydration is good. Mm-mm.
A fail?
Yeah. I should be playing D&D now. I rolled a 94.
Hey, look at you. You are rolling.
Getting those 90s.
Yeah, you are. Nicely done. So, Mendoza's pretty stone-faced. Mendoza's pretty stone-faced. As Larkin has described, Mendoza's my personal aide, my valet and translator. He's truly indispensable member of the team. Member
Is
of
he
my
from...
life.
He's from Peru, right?
Are you asking in character?
No.
No.
Because I think you mentioned it, right? That he was...
So you are unsure. He is of Spanish descent, but if he is from Peru, he is descendant from the Spaniard
Europeans.
conquistadors. Yeah, he has a paler complexion.
Got it.
Yeah, pale complexion, dark hair. So yeah, he is of Latin Hispanic descent, but he is he's not even as
Not
tan as
indigenous.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's working them white conquistador bloods. But as I was saying, this seems like a wonderful time for us to actually get down into the business. Espressos all the way around. Let's be sharp for this, shall we? Now, as you all know, I have recently, through a bit of research, discovered what we believe to be the location of a long-forgotten and as yet unopened pyramid in the Andes Mountains, up near Lake Titicaca. And it is our hope that through this expedition, we are able to crack open that little shellfish, as it were, and feast from the oyster pearls that exist within. An opportunity for all of us to not only become rich, but hopefully make some true historical discoveries. Now, some of you may be wondering what your particular skill set or expertise has earned you as far as an invitation to this expedition. And I must say, a bit of the mumbo-jumbo, as it were, is slightly out of my particular purview, but it does seem to have the locals in quite a stir. As it were, the farmer and his son that I had purchased my little trinkets from that had inspired this particular expedition absolutely refused to go any further near the place. These had become heirlooms since their grandfather had stumbled upon them, and I just could not, in true go-get-'em spirit, leave such vast wealth unrecovered. And he will proceed to tell you about sorry, I want to make sure I'm getting names right. He proceeds to tell you the story of how he purchased items from an alpaca farmer near Puno. Puno is a small village city in the Andes, and that would be your next stop. That's where the initial plan is to travel from Lima to Puno and then begin the expedition into the wilds, as true, from there. The farmer's grandfather, according to the story, has recovered these golden trinkets from tunnels beneath a pyramid high in the mountains. The grandfather never returned to such a site because of fear of, they would say, monsters, and human-eating monsters in the wilds. He goes on to explain that the farmers themselves didn't know the exact location, but through interviews, some flyovers and geological surveys, that he has identified what he believes to be a very narrow region where the pyramid should be. And it's about this time that he pulls out a bag that does have in it a few two small golden items, the items that he bought from the farmer. One is a pendant in the form of a man holding two rods or staves, cross-armed, embellished with rectangular shapes. The other is a golden cup carved with geometrical patterns and circles, inlaid with turquoise. He sets them out for you all to look at, examine if you would like.
Could I study the pendant?
Absolutely, yeah. Go ahead. You can take a look at it. If you'd like to make an archaeology roll to see if you have any information on it, you're welcome to.
Yeah, can I do that on the cup?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not my expertise.
I'd just be like looking at the symbols and see if I recognize them.
Okay. Yep. Let me double check something.
Now we're talking.
I'm just looking, thinking they're real pretty.
They are very pretty. They are absolutely very pretty, and definitely real gold. A very high percentage of gold, soft, not quite soft enough that it's gonna like bend, but definitely if you did the old pirate chomp and peel, it would, a little bit. So we got a success, Evie.
Extreme success.
Extreme success. Ooh, look at you. All right. The duality of Evie.
Yeah, I know. Hey, she is an archaeologist. She should know what this is.
I'm glad. So, the two pieces, just so you know, two pieces are from different time periods and different cultures. So the first one, the first resembling some artifacts taken from Tiwanaku, probably dating back to the 5th century. And the second, so that would be the pendant. And the second being Incan in design, probably from the 15th century. And because you got an extreme success, Tiwanaku, also in Spanish, is known as Tiahuanaco, pre-Columbian site in Bolivia, close to the border with Peru. Discovered by Spanish conquistador Pedro Cieza de Leon in 1549. It has been a site for serious archaeological study since the 1860s. Little is known about the inhabitants, as they left no known written records. So those are the broad strokes, right? We're set to leave 8 a.m. on Monday, giving us, it is, you have 2 days, you have the weekend, basically, to gather any supplies that you might like to have. We do have many things set for us in Puno, cheaper markets up there, to be honest with you, but we should be providing all of the necessaries as far as food, travel, pack animals, specialty climbing gear, things along those lines. But within reason, if there are some specialty tools or anything that you require, I do encourage you to pick them up here. Puno is a wonderful sound, but not terribly metropolitan, as it were. And we will be traveling up into the Andes, so do prepare yourself for colder climate and thinner air. But that place, any questions or anything that I can answer for you?
I don't think so. I brought some tools with me.
And what sort of tool? Yes, you have tools with you.
Yeah, I just brought my little mechanics kit with me just in case something happened. We might need it.
I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. One quick second. Jesse Hughes will pipe up. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Larkin. I was wondering. You said the pyramid was where again? Of course, Jesse. That is up near Lake Titicaca, just beyond Puno. So, day or two. Travel is what we're looking for. Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Larkin. Just asking because local legend speaks about quite the blood-craving monsters up in the area. Well, that would be your expertise, wouldn't it, Mr. Hughes? You'll excuse us. Mr. Hughes was brought on as a folklorist with a specialty in blood-craving monsters, as it were, wasn't it? As a matter of fact, yes. Now, you know the location of the pyramid. As I said, yes, within a few miles. We're very certain of where it is. Well, I'm glad to hear that. How did you discover the location? Well, Mr. Hughes, as I said, surveys and flyovers and interviews. I apologize. I don't mean to press. I just want to make sure that we are prepared for any unfortunate incidences moving forward. I understand. So you wouldn't mind if we took a look at your research? I mean, we are risking both life and limb on what is a few trinkets and word of a good gentleman. Unfortunately, Mr. Hughes, I can't show you my research. I've destroyed it all, as a matter of fact, to prevent any potential scalping of my great discovery. I didn't realize.
You mean you don't have a map?
Oh no, Miss Evelyn, I've memorized it all right here.
But
So
what if something is to happen to you?
what happens if you die?
Well, I was rather hoping that a crew of able-bodied and adventurous souls such as yourselves would perhaps want to keep me from dying. Isn't that right, Mendoza? He just sort of... No.
Right, but what I'm getting at is you're expecting us to go into the Andes Mountains to look for a pyramid, which by all my accounts doesn't exist. You're saying that it does, and we're just supposed to trust the fact that you're going to lead us there?
Well, that is, in broad strokes, yes. As a matter of fact, I've paid for your travel, and I'm willing to pay for all of the. I'm putting up quite a bit of money, really, and the research that I have done is considerable, but without being able to hire local talent due to their own fearful superstitions, I've been forced to rely on outside contractors such as yourselves. Unfortunately, this isn't my first expedition, and the treasure hunting business is rather cutthroat, venturing into the uncharted lands, as it were. And I would hate to wind up, no longer useful, as it were.
With all due respect, I don't mean to deride you, but why would we need a folklorist? There's no such thing as monsters or anything like that.
Well, of course, we're not actually. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You had an answer for that.
Well, I would like to say that I, like Jesse, have run into a blood-sucking beast. I was 24, and their name was Dottie. And eventually, in the divorce, she took about half of my stuff there, and my son. So yeah, monsters are very, very real.
Well, we do, and for fear of Dotties.
Terrible.
Absolutely. But beyond that, Mr. Hughes had explained to us that, well, as a matter of fact, the locals, whether you believe in their folklores or not, can become quite agitated when disrupting sites that have both, historical and religious significance to them. And there are more than a couple of instances in which the monstrous behaviors of creatures in the night are little more than the ramblings of mere mortal men. But a sharp knife will kill you just the same. So I was hoping
that leads me to ask the same question that Miss Faust did with if we're going into a potentially dangerous situation, whether it be by monsters or by other foolish people with sharp objects, why would we not have something written down somewhere to ensure our continued success in case a member of our party fails?
See, Gina, she's got some paper you don't got to pay for, and she could probably give you a piece so you could like, write down the map. Just in case.
Well, I will say this. Listen, the expedition is set to proceed, and if it would make you all feel a bit better, there are some local resources which may help you sort of piece together some of your own research. I recommend you take a visit to the Museo de Archeologia y Antropologia. Yes, something along those lines. Roughly, Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology here in Lima. We've you could do a bit of your own research. We do have a few days, and there's no harm in being overly prepared. And I wouldn't begrudge you having your own particular map, but for my own...
But you have it. So why do we have to do the research? What if we come up with something that isn't exactly what you concluded?
Well,
that doesn't make any sense. You can just sit there and write it down.
Yes, but when you have your own expedition, you can sit there and you write it down. I have my expedition, and when we make it out of Puno, I will write it down for you. How's that?
You mean our expedition? Because you're kind of bringing us along.
Yes, exactly. I'm bringing you along.
So it's not just you anymore. That's what I'm saying.
Ah, all right. I will utilize the royal we, as it were, our expedition.
Which means that we need a map, maybe?
Right. Outside of Puno, you shall have a map.
This is very unusual, sir.
I agree. It is very, very unusual. Okay. He seems to have, you've just kind of circled around, so he doesn't seem to be willing to give you guys the map, especially not, he seems like he'll create one or give you details after leaving Puno, but definitely not before. You are welcome to go in that circle again, but I, as the storyteller, am just letting you know you're in the conversation loop, right? Like, tell me details. I did. No, you didn't. Tell me the details I want to know. I did.
Tell me more.
One final question, I guess, before we leave. What kinds of curse is supposed to be around this pyramid?
And he'll sort of turn to, one moment. Let's see. Okay. So he'll turn to Jesse Hughes. I'm so sorry, Mr. Hughes. What was it they were saying? I can poor butchery of the language. Karasiri. I believe that was the Karasiri. Karasiri is sort of a local version of a vampire. Came to Peru around the time of the conquistadors landed in about the 1500s. They would appear as men, but would devour the fat and muscle of individuals and leave desiccated husks of skin and bones. These are the type of monsters that, from what I've been able to piece together, are rumored to wander the Andes in this particular region. True evidence as to their existence is slim to none, but reports of people dying under mysterious circumstances have sometimes been attributed to such creatures. Well, Mr. Mendoza would probably be able to fill us in on some of those happenstances. Isn't that right, Mr. Mendoza? Mendoza sort of looks just sort of across all of you. And then he just takes his espresso and just like barely sips it. And sets it back down. Right, well, I am so sorry, my friends. I fear that I have taken a bit of the vapors and require a wonderful bed this evening. I'm going to leave you all. You have a free run of the Bar Cordona, and I have put some papers of credit throughout the city, so please don't be shy. Don't be too familiar, as it were. I would like to make money off of the vast riches and gold within a hidden temple, but please afford yourselves a comfortable weekend. I will hopefully see you over the course, but if not, Monday morning, 8 a.m., trucks travel out to Puno. Pardon me. Mendoza. And he'll stand up. Mendoza is sort of getting up and walking from the bar with him. And with that, I think we're going to take a quick break. Thank you guys for being here. This is Massa Nyarlahotep. It is our this is our first session, so I hope everybody's enjoying it. It is 9:29 by my clock. Let's be back at 9:40, so a little 10-minute break, and yeah, all right. So we'll see you guys in just a moment, but until then, stay tuned. Hello and welcome back, everybody. We are Random Encounter Productions. I'm Cody Stone. With me tonight we have...
I know this time. I'm Justin. And you can check me out at the Drunk Drawer Show, drunkdrawershow.com.
And who are you playing, Justin?
I'm playing Ashley Sutton, the private investigator.
Nice.
I'm Caitlin. I am also Crimson Shield Scholar. You can find me on Twitch. And tonight I am playing Evelyn/Evie, and she is an archaeologist.
I am Corey /Silent Fox. I am playing Dr. Regina Travers, the disgruntled parapsychologist.
And I'm Blondie, or Blondosaurus Rex, and I'm playing Margaret Peggy Williams, the mechanic, and you can find me on Twitch as well.
Yay! And thank you for all of the shout-outs to the wonderful mod crew. Let us get back into our adventure tonight. You guys are in Lima, Peru. You have answered the call of one Augustus Larkin and have just spent the evening dining with him and his valet, his right-hand man, one Espinosa Mendoza. One Mendoza, Luis de Mendoza. I was like, I know this game is not frivolous enough to name them Espinosa Mendoza. Like, that's... But now I want them to. Anyway, as Larkin is excusing himself from the table, as he starts to walk away, I would like all of you to make spot hidden checks.
Evie is good at one thing. That's it.
Archaeology, and spot hidden is not archaeology. That is okay.
It's not.
That was no good.
No, a fail.
Hard success.
Hard success. Nice. Gina?
I failed.
A failed. Okay. As you guys are walking, you're seeing them walk out. You're a little more distracted just by the rest of the things that are going on. But Jesse Hughes sort of watches them leave and looks over and notices that Ashley's, might have probably seen the same thing he did. Well, did you see that? And Ashley, you notice that just over the course of the evening, before, just before he left, Mendoza had gotten noticeably sweatier and paler, and just before he excused himself, you could hear his hand beginning to tremble on the teacup, and that was when he put on the espresso cup, right, the little cup thing, and that's when he put it down. And so Ashley, you did pick up on that.
Yeah, it seemed like he doesn't quite have the stomach for this. Very chatty fellow, couldn't get him to shut up.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I guess my question to all of you is, exactly how much of that chatter do you believe?
Of the monsters?
Well,
Or-
no, I'm not asking you to believe in monsters. That's just downright silly. But I'm asking about just them and their plans. Something a bit off about it, if you ask me. But I'm trying to gauge the group here.
That's a bit dodgy.
Seems a little shifty.
I mean, for sure, the artifacts are real, and I think he believes that he knows what he's doing. It's really, really strange he won't provide us with a map, but on the other hand, I have ran into my fair share of treasure hunters, and I do understand that it's very difficult to sort of one-up one another. That's kind of what they do. So I understand the caution, and I think I will reserve my judgment until we get to Puno. If we do, and he gives us the map before we actually get to the pyramid, then it will be okay.
He sort
Wait
of
and see if he actually provides.
Yeah. Jesse's holding off for a moment to see if Gina chimes in with anything.
It seems odd for the fact that he would even mention again. No, I no offense, of course. But it just seems odd to mention, to be so, gold-minded and money-minded and gold-minded and yet still talk things of monsters and the like.
Well, I think we can forgive an old man his, belief in superstitions. Not old age, but you know what I mean. He seemed a little unwell, I guess. He left rather abruptly. I don't know why, but something could happen. Suppose.
That's what's frightening about it is.
Are any of you trained in medicine?
Did I take that?
I am not.
Yes-ish. I gave myself some points in it.
Go ahead and make a medicine roll.
Okay. Trying this again. Much better. Regular success.
Okay. Having had the symptoms sort of pointed out to you, you think through what you know. the the symptoms resemble opiate withdrawal.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Now, listen, I've seen
I-
a man or two have a fall apart quite that fast, but it's well, I have to find out just how good at medicine I am to tell if I succeeded or failed when I made this roll. Turns out I know jack all nothing about medicine, so I'm gonna shut my mouth.
It seems to me that the poor soul is suffering from some sort of medical withdrawal, if you catch my meaning. Don't want to talk about such things in such public locations.
No.
So I will probably err on the side of caution, but I must admit I am curious as to what he potentially found.
I think it's worth. Listen, I apologize for a bit of deception earlier, but the good old boy is a disarming character, to say the least. My name is Jackson Elias, out of Manhattan, originally from upstate. I do a bit of research, and I've authored a few books on cults and other odd behaviors. I had actually come to town to do some research on another cult when I had run into the Larkin expedition. I was actually up in Puno about a week ago, and it turned out none of the locals were willing to work for Larkin. He's been here at least 2-3 months, and so that's when he started making overtures, bringing in outsiders. And the locals seem to have put me on some odd warnings, specifically about Mendoza. That's where I started hearing the word Karasiri. You know, I don't think Mendoza eats people's muscles or whatever, but you always be a little surprised at the evil that men will do. You know. You had the check earlier. I'll give you the other education check with advantage, Evie, because, and if anybody would like to make an education roll on the name Elias Jackson Elias. Jackson Elias. Jackson.
Oh yeah. Extreme success.
Nice.
And seeing as
Extreme success.
I have Gina from New York City,
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like, yeah, and I did have it was an extreme success, so it was just a regular success, but
Okay. Well, yeah.
Success. Mild success.
Nice. So yeah, with a basic success, I'm gonna open this on a different spot because I will have to scroll back in a moment, and then I won't know where I was. There we go. So he, you do know him. You've at least seen a couple of his books in like bookshelves and stores. He is a pretty well known author. He specializes in books about strange and violent cults. I apologize. He's originally from Connecticut. I don't know a Connecticut accent, so we're just going to go with upstate.
I mean, it's basically the same thing.
Great. That's what I thought. So yeah, with the extreme success, you do know a little bit more about him. He was an orphan. He is college educated. Doesn't really have a permanent address. He's definitely part of the new breed of author and um, journalist. So definitely like in the street where it's happening, going and finding things out. His biggest book is The Sons of Death, exposing modern day thuggies in India. Don't exactly understand what that is, but know that it is a cult. It is a death cult, and it is people with stabby and bloody. Duji. Duji. I apologize to the seventh of the world population I just offended. I'm pretty sure. So there you go. He has a good reputation. He definitely is, from what you guys understand. Mostly self-educated, but through his writing, he's a very good writer, very talented writer. And he is a writer that approaches things with a scientific mind. So his stuff is not. It's very grounded. So when it is sensational, when he gets to the sort of skinning, violent sort of things, it's taken more earnestly and legitimately. So.
The Thuggees are a very, 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 very well-known group of assassins in India. They theoretically operated from the 12th century all the way up until the 1860s. The Guinness Book of World Records has them as being responsible for over 2 million assassinations.
Well, they are very good at what they do then. Well done.
And they rob and kill, and their modus operandi was that they didn't leave any blood. They did a bunch of hanging and asphyxiation.
Oh, all right. Well, good to know they didn't skin anybody. Nice. Has a fascination with cults, and has and this was his research. So you guys, you recognize Jackson Elias as having some, definite legitimacy to his workings. Right. So, like I was saying, after I got back from Puno and had a couple of, interesting warnings coming from the locals up there, I decided to start looking into this Larkin guy, and everything I'm finding just doesn't quite add up. I mean, for one, there's a make sure I get this name right. There's a professor over at the National University of San Marcos. What's his name? He sort of searches out a piece of paper. Nemesio Sanchez, right? He was offering to join the expedition, and you would think an expert in local culture and archaeology, one that teaches at clearly a reputable school, is somebody that you would want on the expedition. He's been turned down by Larkin for weeks. So I actually have a meeting with Professor Sanchez tomorrow to see what research the professor has. He said that they had something. He thought that they had something in their storeroom, just from other expeditions in the area, that might shed some insight on what Larkin is really looking for in the area. So if you all are interested, please, I'd like you to come along. I don't exactly know what game Larkin is playing, but if the rumors, I mean, Mendoza clearly puts the chill in the locals, and if he's working with Larkin, and Larkin won't work with the locals, and he wants to lead a bunch of, forgive me, but we're all a bit green to the area, into some crazed death trap. I'd rather know what I'm walking into, personally.
I'd love to tag along on that.
And I agree, definitely. And it's nice to actually meet you. I've heard of some of your work,
Oh,
especially in school.
well, oh, my books in schools? That's crazy. Well, yeah,
Well-
nice to meet you too.
Well, kind of. It was just kind of a little side venture that I had.
No. All right. Well, I'm suddenly less excited about being in schools, but that's all right. I don't, stuff happens. Yeah, I don't really know what it does with the pyramid, but this is all sounding a little cultish, and that's actually what I had come here to look into. Something about I believe, what is it, Cult of the Bloody Tongue? That's what I had originally come here to find some rumors on. I may ask you to forget that if Cody said the wrong cult name, because there are many cults in this adventure, and chances are I said the wrong one.
We love ourselves some cults.
We do love us
So,
some cults. Absolutely.
It's Bloody Tongue and not the Sons of Death.
Sons of Death was his original book.
Okay.
You know, he's here to research a new book, is what I am attempting to communicate.
I've got to say, it's much more feasible that there'd be a cult responsible for monsters and death, and instead of anything.
Oh, just a Karasiri death cult. So, forget the Bloody Tongue. Something around here somewhere will be a Bloody Tongue.
Death cult number 3. Got it.
Yep. All right. Well, you guys can sit. You can talk with Elias more. Elias/Jesse, or Jackson/Jesse.
So when we go to other people, do you want us to refer to you as?
Other than the professor, pretty much everybody around here knows me as Jesse.
Right. Does the subterfuge work?
Well, it's kept me alive so far and has gotten me onto the expedition, so I'm gonna stick with it. I mean, may not be working, but can't hurt.
And this is the first time you met the professor, yeah?
First time that I've had a proper introduction with him. Run into his reputation up in Puno, along with Mendoza, but never had the chance to meet them directly until now. All right. Well, I'm going to call it a night unless you all have anything else in mind.
Just curious. Why does he need a mechanic for hiking into the mountains?
I know there are trucks going up part of the ways. I don't know.
Oh, are we? Oh, well.
I mean, yeah, we have 3 trucks to take us up into Puno, part of the way to the pyramids.
I mean, I'm always down for adventure and discovering new things and learning new things. That was the main reason I wanted to come along, but I just wanted to kind of find out.
I'm not 100%, and
Well, you don't just work on transport vehicles, do you?
I mean, my main job is, fixing cars and trucks and whatnot, but I tinker here and there.
I mean, if any of the other digs are anything of any indication, they're sometimes a lot of mechanical-based traps that some people put out, so maybe you can
And some
work on
cranks
those.
and pulleys and
That's very exciting.
engines and yeah.
Find some ancient machinery, mechanical knickknacks.
There are traps in all sorts of these things, and disabling them has never been my forte. So I think something with one along with your expertise would really work.
All right.
What time is the meeting with Professor tomorrow?
8 a.m. Sorry, 8 a.m.
Right, pretty early then. But they're soon.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. Double checking when it is. I know you're leaving at 8. Hotel España. 2 p.m. Sorry, 2 p.m. Saturday the 19th.
Much better. Well,
All right.
I think I shall retire for the evening. Pleasure meeting all of you, and I will see all of you tomorrow, I imagine.
Have a good night.
Toodles.
As they say here, hasta mañana.
Killing
It's
it.
like a native.
You all are staying at the Hotel Mori, which is about 20-30 minutes away from where you're at now. Not bad. The night air is relatively cool and brisk. Is anyone doing anything other than heading to their hotel and or calling it a night?
I'm gonna take, if there's a bottle of bourbon on the bar, I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna walk home.
Okay.
Or walk to the hotel. If there's anything that is, I wouldn't say like exciting, but if someone is, if there's like a card game I can hear like in a bar passing by, or if there's like dice in the alley, I'd like to. I want to take in as much of the culture as possible.
Sure, make a luck roll.
Mind if I tag along with you?
No, please, more the merrier. A luck roll. I got a success, I think, with that. I got a 26, and my luck is 50.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you can find a I won't say it's like a hard adventure, but it is a Friday night, and Lima is a city for sure. So you know there's some local music playing. You can hear from the outside. There are there's some bands. You might be able to find a dice game if you guys want to. You can spend the evening carousing and making friends. Yeah, not a problem.
I'm gonna try to get to know Peggy. Obviously, I'm gonna pass the bourbon bottle around and go, I hear music. I hear lively, jovial voices. A lot better than, I don't know about you, but everyone was so prim and proper and very, no.
I'm not a proper lady. I'm very much, we can go find a little bit more of a nightlife to
Well, I ain't a proper
explore.
gentleman, so shall we? And I'm gonna put my arm out hook.
We shall.
All right.
And I hand him a cigar as well.
Oh, and I take the cigarette out and I put the cigar. I light that.
Yeah. Sounds good. Go ahead and you guys have a great time. We'll do just sort of a couple roll. You guys already succeeded the luck roll. You can both make me appearance rolls.
Fail.
Appearance?
Fail.
Yeah.
I'm looking for appearance. I don't see it.
APP.
A, right above education.
It's one of the main ones at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I failed that as well.
That's okay. Constitution rolls.
Oh boy.
How drunk are you going to be? AKA hungover.
Okay. Succeeded that.
Extreme success.
Nice. All right. So, Ashley, you are a little hungover. There may come a moment in which moving quickly is not something you are super good at but other than one brief moment of it, you're going to be good. Peggy, you feel right as rain. A little huevos rancheros in the morning, and you're good to go. So, yeah, you guys, you definitely have fun. You make some local acquaintances, but nobody. You don't make a good enough friend the night before that like somebody's gonna help you out the next day. That's really what we were double checking. But it was a good time. Everybody and you didn't upset anybody in the process. So, yeah.
Quick question. Did I learn anything about you, Peggy?
You learn that I am from Georgia. And I'm one of the best mechanics in Atlanta.
I would probably just keep asking you questions about mechanics that I have no idea what you're saying, but I like you saying it to me. So
I get like real excited, enthusiastic about it when I'm like talking about fixing everything.
there.
Nice. I love the Kaylee vibes. I'm on board. So awesome. So you guys have a wonderful night. Those of you that head to the hotel, it is a nice hotel, Hotel Mori. The rooms are well furnished. You sleep well. You get up. There is a breakfast service in the morning. You guys probably would gather up around 1, unless you want to make it to the museum earlier than 2 for any particular reason.
I would definitely like to go to the museum a little bit earlier.
Same. Just to be a museum goer. For me.
Cool. How early do you guys want to get there?
I think we can probably get there at 11 and then do a lunch and then be back at 2.
Cool. Okay. Is everyone in the group participating in that?
I would like to meet specifically just for the lunch.
Okay.
Like I'm not early enough to get to the museum because I know they'll fill me in, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm very pumped for food.
Yeah. Lunch is what you're focused on. Absolutely.
Very greasy, greasy food.
Yeah.
Lots of it.
Yes.
Absolutely. So yeah, you guys take your trip around the hotel. Around the museum.
Is there anything particularly unique, something that doesn't seem like typical museum fare?
Make me a luck roll.
Ooh. What is my luck? We didn't really use that last time.
I'd kind of want to keep an eye out if anything matched the things that we had been shown the previous night.
Okay.
Oh, success.
Okay. So. Double checking things. So the museum's new. It's 1921 right now. The museum only opened in 1919. But it is a part of the University de San Marcos, I believe. Yes. And the University of San Marcos is actually the oldest higher education in America, in the Americas, South America, I believe. 1551 is when it was established. So the museum's very new, but it does have some primarily Incan artifacts, and some of it does match the later piece, the site. I believe the chalice that you guys had was part of Larkin's discovery. So there are some similar pieces. They don't look like they are from the same set. Like, you don't think he stole it from the museum or that it came from the same dig that some of these museum pieces came from, but from the same culture, from the same, continent-spanning empire, probably around the same time. Similar construction and design, not of a similar like acquisition, right? There are some interesting markings that do make me an education roll, Evie.
Regular success.
Regular success. So in and among the Incan artifacts, there are markings. Let's go with this for different sound days. Hieroglyphic sort of markings, geometric shapes and things that are reminiscent of both like Celtic, Nordic runes, as well as in a rudimentary sense some Egyptian hieroglyphs. Not the more representational, like full body ones, but just some similar geometric shapes. They're not identical, but they look familiar. But it's also sort of like an 8 always looks like an 8. Like, two circles next to each other kind of all look the same. So it's tough to tell if this is of any real significance, but it is enough of them that you're like, oh, wait a second. That is that is most of the museum. There's also shipwright and ship pieces from Spanish expeditions, right? Conquistador landings and conquerings throughout the 15, 16, 1700s. All of those sorts of things are also preserved here as part of the museum's adventures, or there are some maps, that sort of stuff. You guys have a good lunch, and afterwards you meet up with Jackson, and I will never forgive this adventure for naming him Jackson Elias rather than Elias Jackson, because it doesn't sound right in my head. Hope you all have had a wonderful morning. Let's see if we can get to the professor. See how he's getting along today, shall we? And he leads you back into the office areas of the museum, and in his office is on the ground floor. It's got a tall, airy ceiling, white walls and shelves full of books and small artifacts. There is some old Spanish, like star navigation sextant, seafaring pieces kept up on his shelves there. He has a very large hardwood desk that has like full drawers on the sides, like it's president desk size, and it's full of papers and notes. Some of them are definitely research papers from like students and things like that. He's got books and journals, all of them sort of open to different pages. You can see papers sticking out of all the different books. And when when the door opens, he sort of Mr. Jackson, Mr. Elias, of course. Give me just a moment. We will. Oh, my lord, I am so sorry. There is. Oh, hello. There is that, and oh, there is more of you. You guys, you would just keep coming in, don't you? Okay, come on, please. Come in here. Hello, I am Professor Sanchez. I am pleased to make your acquaintance. Who are you? And Jackson will begin making introductions. He seems just a little surprised. There are some chairs around here. He's only cleared off like one of them for one person to sit, and so now he's kind of doing the host scramble of like, I don't know where to put this, and he's moving stuff around.
Professor, I'll stand. It's all right.
If
you don't mind.
Of course, no, but whatever makes you comfortable. But please, with even just a minute's notice, I would have been perfectly capable of having everybody with a nice little seat for you all to sit at. You notice that, so his English is okay. He definitely has a thicker accent, and definitely sort of struggles through some words, some verbiage as he goes. But yeah, when you sort of get into the subject matter at hand, Elias is kind of leading the conversation, and Professor Sanchez does explain that he has he took note of Larkin when he first arrived, and when he started advertising this expedition, began making, had offered multiple times to participate, even offered to pay sort of his own way. At one point, he's been turned down every single time. What he offers is what he thinks the reason is that Peru has no official laws to prevent outsiders from looting and pillaging all of our sacred sites, and so I am rather certain that rather than see anything of value end up here in the Museum of San Marcos, Mr. Larkin seems far more interested in seeing those treasures fill his own particular coffers, as it were. As a matter of, he uses the term grave robbers very specifically. It is my hope that the only proper thing for me to do is to perhaps undermine this greedy man by locating this pyramid first, and hopefully being able to preserve what is of historical importance both to my country and to the history of the world at large. I do believe that we have some notes of importance that have been here. My research assistant, Trinidad Rizzo, is down in our archives at the moment, sifting through a variety of our papers and maps and other notes of previous adventures. We are hoping to find a journal written by a mid-16th century conquistador, one Gaspar Figueroa. If I am remembering correctly, he was the conquistador to most thoroughly map the regions around Lake Titicaca. And most certainly, if there is a pyramid to have been found, some notes he may have left could lead us to them. I'm sincerely hoping that Rizzo is along any minute now. She had come in early this morning to complete the cataloging and searching. So I'm rather certain we should have an answer pretty shortly. If you all have any questions, I would be happy to do my best to provide some sort of answer. Or we can sit in awkward silence. I am okay with this as well.
How long have you been studying pyramids, and how long has Rizzo been researching all of this? Is this fairly new since the expedition, or?
Rizzo's particular involvement has been very new within the past about 6 weeks, which about I believe the time frame that Larkin has been 8 weeks perhaps putting together his expedition. It was shortly after that I began looking for things, going through our archives, things like that. So Rizzo's involvement fairly new. I have been studying the greater Incan culture along with the history of Peru for much of my life. I graduated from this very institute some 20 years ago. So I have been working in its department since for many years. I did study briefly in he studies in Europe and England, working on his doctorate, but came back here and very much is a nationalist as far as, you know, pride and effort and discovery of his people and preservation of his people's culture. And Rizzo is a postgraduate, a doctorate candidate. That is, she's taken an interest, and he's just kind of recently brought her in the past couple of weeks.
So are you finding that Larkin's possible expedition could be a like a perversion or a something negative towards your culture and your preservation? Yeah.
Well, I think the robbing and pillaging of any culture is, let us say, probably not in its best interest.
Now, he mentioned something about curses. Do you are you aware of any curses that are on this this pyramid?
I mean, the curses of Incan, the Incan blood curses on stolen gold are make for great myth and legend, especially on pirate treasure, if I am not mistaken. But as far as any true evidence of such things, they are mostly, from everything I have noticed, a Eurocentric fairy tale that is meant to demean the religious acts of people that they would deem to be savage or less civilized. But I would say that the Incan Empire had advanced laws, mathematics, sciences, to disregard all of their developments purely for some outlying practices would be akin to disregarding everything that the mighty British Empire has pieced together because you once burned witches.
I mean, that is fair, mate. Me, I don't know personally. I didn't
To
get
be
to.
fair, it was only a certain part of the British Empire that did that, but yes.
Yes, I mean, I would argue that our bloodletting and heart eating was perhaps a little more narrow than previously advertised, but of course, the point being what it is, I have no desire to argue or create discomfort.
So you mentioned, and I've heard this brought up a couple times, bringing in other outsiders. Are we the first group of outsiders that he's attempted to bring into a activity like this?
As best I can tell, yes, Mr. Larkin arrived and did travel to Puno, but was primarily by himself. Through normal travel means, rented some trucks, a vehicle. His activities in Puno are none that I am particularly sure of, Mr. Elias. Right. I mean, as far as we can tell, this is the first outsider expedition, but it's more his aversion to working with locals that is the point of interest.
Are the pieces that he already has legitimate?
I mean, as far as I can tell, Professor, without having a deep and personal look at them, I believe so, but you all saw them. I mean, were she not eating, I'm sure she would confirm that they are
100% legitimate, yes.
There you go.
Like I said last night, not sure if they're going to lead to any sort of pyramid, but they are truly from the time period that he says they were from. I think the pendant was around 5th century, and the chalice, if I remember properly, was around 15th century Incan. How those two pieces together could lead to some sort of archaeological discovery, I'm not quite sure. But then again, Larkin wasn't very forthcoming.
The time stretches on. Sanchez does his best to answer all of your questions. And you notice that after about an hour, he's getting a bit anxious, or at the very least confused. He's not sure. I am very sorry. Rizzo really should have been here by now.
You didn't think something happened to her?
I just don't know why she would not have at least come up to inform us if there was some form of problem. I mean, the archives down below in the basement are sort of on shelves and things. I would hate for something to have fallen on her or some other small accident. But really, I cannot imagine why she would not have at least come upstairs to check in.
Well, I mean, there's no reason to panic. Maybe she just found herself in a very good book. I mean, we can go look, yeah?
Yes.
And I'm going to look at the
If you want us
other
to go find her,
three.
we can do that.
Yes, of course. No, here, I will, let me give you some directions to the storerooms. They're not far. They are just downstairs beneath my office here. But I will, here. And he writes down some quick notes. It's, down the hallway, take a left, go down the stairs, take a right. Like, it's real simple. And he kind of looks at Jackson. Looks at Jackson, who was like, as soon as we go down there, she's going to come up the stairs. She's going to have gone to get a sandwich or something. So somebody should stay here just in case. No, of course. That is always the way. I do love me a good empanada, of course. Here, if you all would like to check it out. Just do be careful. Everything down in the storeroom, while perhaps not of invaluable museum-worthy display, is still culturally important. So, kid gloves if you can.
Now, if there are empanadas when we come back up, I'd like a guava and cheese. Just save it. Side.
I will have an undergrad go and grab you guava and cheese. Absolutely.
Shall we, Lex?
Did you not eat enough for lunch, Mr. Sutton?
We didn't have time for dessert, so guava and cheese is very nice to suffice. So many questions about my eating habits. Maybe we should go to the archives, see what's going on down there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anybody staying with Sanchez and Jackson Elias? Cool. All right. Absolutely. So you guys follow the directions. Super easy to follow. Not a big deal. The storeroom is almost directly underneath Sanchez's office. There's a staircase. The corridor that leads to the actual storeroom in the basement is long. It's dimly lit. It's got that. It's got the old like lone light bulb with the half circle, like the dog cone of shame. Reflector, and so it's very much like in spotlights. It's about 80 feet, pretty long. And there's definitely like one of them that's doing the menacing like swing of doom, right? Just enough. As you are
not foreboding at all.
Not foreboding at all. No.
Very comfortable here.
Yeah, absolutely. You make your way down the hallway. You can travel down the hallway like shoulder to shoulder with one other person, not like tight, comfortable. Who is up front?
I would say I most likely am leading point.
Okay.
Kind of smoking and going, that's weird. Why is there one light bulb? There's no like more central light. Yeah, no, it's odd.
And I'll go with them because, whatever.
Yeah, as you get there is like a little like air vent that is kind of pushing. That's why that one is swinging. Is it's like right under the like one air conditioning vent. So it's like you get in the little swinging light and you feel a cold spot and you're like,
oh good, it's cool in here.
Yeah.
I'd probably kind of be in the rear. Okay. Because I'd be like trying to look at everything and see if I can get any, sneak any information or knowledge as I pass by something.
Okay.
I'm just distracted.
Cool. So the corridor, a little shorter than what I said, but you make it to the end. You were given by Professor Sanchez his set of keys. He had it's not like a huge like janitor key ring, but it does have. Usually the door is locked, so he held it out, gave it to you. But as you get down there, the door's actually unlocked and ajar. Okay. You push open the door.
Wait, wasn't this supposed to be locked? Didn't he give you a key?
Yeah, no, he gave me the key, but obviously, I mean, it's an archive. Why are we locking ourselves in an archive?
Well, if Rizzo's in there, she could probably be. Maybe she left it open so she could come.
But it's an archive. You keep those things secure.
I'm gonna close the archive. I'm gonna lock it.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go unlock, push open.
In the meantime,
Senora,
I slammed in your back.
Senora Rizzo, are you there? And then I'm gonna look over at Evie. Go. Fine enough.
if there was something afoot, you would have told everybody that we were here. Haven't you?
If there's something afoot, we're all here. It's me, Ashley. There's Evie, Miss Regina, Dr. Regina, and Peggy.
And Peggy. I just had to do
And
it. Sorry.
Peggy. And Peggy. I'm gonna go. If there's anything afoot awry within this archive, it's a library. Why are you? You look like
Library?
you live in a library. I'm sorry. Is this where you keep your undergarments and your unmentionables? Why are we being sneaky?
Libraries happen to be the most dangerous place on Earth, and
I've
knowledge
been in
the
the
most
library.
dangerous weapon. So
I'm sorry. I mean, nuns are very angry. Have you been hit by a ruler before?
I have.
I can't
not-
say I
it's-
have. No.
Would you
It's
like
not
to?
fun.
We're not in a monastery. We're fine. Please.
Let's just be positive. Maybe she stepped out for a second, just left it ajar because she didn't want to have to lock it, unlock it, all that jazz.
We're having a full conversation outside of a door. Can we please go inside the door and go inside the archive?
And the funny part is that when you guys stopped short, Gina plowed right into your backs. Like she wasn't looking where she was going. So like when she basically slammed into the backs of you both, she dropped all the books that were in her hand and made a loud as hell noise anyway. So
Look, and then she's
Not
picking
a
up
point.
papers and books now because we've stopped to have this interaction with the door.
I apologize. I didn't mean to slam into the back.
No.
Problem?
The problem is I was making a point.
The door was open.
Yeah, door's open.
I can knock. Do you want me to knock? Because I've already locked, unlocked, and opened, and we're having a full volume conversation.
I adjust my glasses, step around you all, and go into the into the archive.
I'll open and allow her into the archive. She's already went into the archive, yeah? And you're here talking about the archive.
I'm
She's
just
in.
gonna go with her.
I'm going to watch her go. That's two. Now, you can either have the extreme embarrassment of allow me to go into the archive third, or because you're being, you can go in third and I'll go in fourth. I'll bite that bullet. Should probably get into the archive, love, yeah.
Your lack of caution will bite you in your behind. And I walk right in.
And I'm going to go hard or like it's like a sexy bite.
I love the London Liverpool dynamic that is happening here.
It's going to go great.
This is super.
We're not foils at all.
Nope, not at all.
Perfectly fine. Everything's fine.
100% the same.
As the first of you start to make your way in, so the archive, this is a large room. It's about 100 feet deep, about 25 feet wide. It does have high ceilings. Everything is on those not rod, but the iron bracket shelves, and they're bolted into the ceilings. So it is kind of Ark of the Covenant-ish. Not quite everything in crates. There are some smaller pieces, some larger pieces. It's all very well labeled. The lighting theme continues to be sparse and effective for what it is, right? But as you guys are making your way in there. Oh, don't put that in the middle there. I don't need that. Stop that. So that is not where we are. Right. There is that. There is that. You guys make your way into the deepest, not quite the deepest, but about 3/4 of the way in, and down one of the hallways, you can see stuff has been, one of the areas where the exhibit is, has been thrown askew, right? It's the first place where there's like a pile of stuff in the aisle that is not on the shelves. You guys are about 20 feet, 20, 30 feet away from it. When you notice it, it is directly in the light. There is light leading from where you're at over there. Gina, you are the first to see it. Peggy is but a moment or two behind you. What would you like to do?
I will definitely pull up short myself and stop in my tracks.
You're seeing it from like I said, you're about 20, 30 feet from it. You're like looking down the aisles as you're walking, right? And you see there's a pile of stuff there. So you've stopped at the end of the aisle. You're looking over there. You can tell that there's like the packing hay material. Looks like there's a broken crate, and then a bunch of papers and stuff.
I'm going to kind of move a little slower, move in closer, and kind of clear my throat as I kind of advance forward.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Behind her.
Yeah, Peggy, you see her turn down an aisle and hear her clear her throat. She's maybe like 5 feet in front of you, 5-10 feet in front of you. There's no response. The other two of you that are making your way in, you can hear her kind of call out the "excuse me." You're maybe 20 feet from the turn, right? You all sort of keep your ears up. Does anybody have a listen that's like under 30%?
In fact, I have the keen hearing, so.
Yeah, you perk up your ears. There is no response.
I'm going to like before I get within about 15 feet, I'm going to stop and I'm going to kind of like empty my arms out. Like I'm going to put my books in a pile on the floor and kind of start to approach a little bit slower, and I kind of look over my shoulder at Peggy.
Okay.
And I kind of start to try to move a little bit quieter, and I kind of put a finger to my lips back at Peggy as I kind of go forward.
Okay. Yeah, make a stealth roll.
That will be... Darn. So close. That's a failure.
Okay. Your footsteps are, I mean, you're definitely moving slower. You're not clipping clopping. What sort of footwear are you wearing? I'm pretty sure hard soles and heels are the footwear of the day, but clogs. Yes, thank you. Executive werewolf clogs. It may not be that bad, but you are in a concrete room essentially. There's very little in the way of like acoustic padding. So, unfortunately, even as you try to move quieter, every footstep suddenly is louder in your mind. You're not actually making more noise, but you're now keenly aware of it.
Now I know exactly how much noise I'm making.
Yeah, exactly. There was a skill I was trying to look up, but well, whatever. So you're within about 10 feet now. Nothing's moving. Nothing's responding. There's a little...
Do I see any...
Go ahead.
Do I see anything on the ground besides just kind of like the general disarray? Do I see anything else besides just...
At this distance,
Stuff?
not quite. Like you think you see a shoe.
My eyes get big and I look back at Peggy again. and like look in that direction and then look back at her again. And I'll stop and let her catch up to me.
Okay. Yeah, she's a few steps behind you. She gets right there. If you want to try to spot hidden from here, otherwise getting within like 5 feet to it, that's what I was looking up, is kind of what you're perhaps looking for.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
What's the worst that could happen?
We're gonna find out.
Oh, yeah. Cool. That's a success.
So don't say that in Call of Cthulhu, because there's a lot worse things that can happen.
I'm not. Yeah. No, that is actually a success.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough.
Yeah, sounds good. From where you're looking, buried beneath the papers, in and amongst the hay, the packing materials, partially buried beneath the crate, two things catch your eye. The first is in a little bit of the light that up until now had been completely stagnant. Just where you're at, as you turn your head, there's a small glint, and a corner piece, sort of looks like a puzzle piece, buried in the hay, but it's of gold, shiny, clear, well preserved gold that has caught the light. And you start to follow that, and you see another small glint just to the left of it. And as your eyes trace over the hay and the orange golden light of it, you run over the half-buried face to the glassy, pale milk-white eye of what was perhaps once a very young and beautiful woman that is now very, very dry, drained, and with the last bit of moisture being the fluid over her eye. I would like you to make a sanity roll.
That would be a failure.
I would like you to roll a D6.
That is a 1.
Okay. You lose 1 point of sanity. And I would like you so you don't, there is no need to check your sanity. You did not lose enough to have a bout of madness. However, whenever you fail a sanity roll, the investigator always loses control for a moment. At which point, I choose an involuntary action for Gina to make. And as you see the eye, even though it's milk white over where the pupil is, you see it sort of in your direction, and you startled jump backwards, and let out just a little yelp of fear, and then almost immediately as you catch yourself, sort of laugh or to kind of try to push it off, as you all have hit the end of the corridor. Those of you that came in last, you're maybe part of the way down it. Peggy, you are right next to Gina when this happens, and you're more focused on her. You haven't exactly seen what it is that has startled her at this point. What would you like to do?
I like put a hand on her shoulder.
Yeah, and she sort of flinches away. Immediately.
I feel like I would scream again and like a little bit and jump away, like when you did that.
Do you think Gina would scream at this? Do you think this
I think she would yelp again, definitely. Okay. Like,
all right,
because I think she's just kind of like,
sure.
Oh crap! I'm seeing something.
Yeah. I mean, a double yelp. Sure, I'm on board with that.
Yeah. And I'll kind of grab at her hand.
And I'm like, whoa, what? Are you okay? What?
I'm okay, but she is not.
Look around her.
You can make. I'm not gonna make you make the spot hidden check again. You're gonna walk up to it, because you sort of know what you're walking up to. I'm gonna have you make the sanity check with a bonus die, so with advantage. You have an idea that something scary is there. It can still disturb you. That is the other part of the sanity rolls is. Examples of low loss sanity things is like seeing a desiccated animal corpse or seeing a dead person, right? These are things that sort of wear on your mental well-being. But I think if you are forewarned of something simple, right, like seeing a corpse, it is a little easier to kind of steel yourself against it. So, did you succeed?
Yes.
Okay. Then you don't lose any sanity, but you sort of take a deep breath, look forward, and you see the partial face of and the dark hair, drained. The body looks. You have not seen anything like this in Georgia or Atlanta. Things don't get sucked. Exsanguinated very often. Even roadkill on the side of the road has a much different process to this. This looks, as far as you understand, this looks unnatural.
Peggy, what happened to her?
I'm the last person to ask that question to. I've never even seen a dead possum look like that.
And I kind of have a realization that I feel like this is one of the stories that might have been in my book or my journal that an old relative might have put in there.
You haven't seen anything like this before either. You're the paranormal person.
I've read about it in books, but there's some family stories that we've had, and they've talked of similar things, but I've never actually seen any of this.
The other two, you guys are right up on this now. You can look in the pile if you would like to. Sanity check with advantage.
Oh.
Mr. Sutton, this is why we don't walk through open doors.
You're expecting a dead body every time you walk through an open door.
When I'm on an operation that talks about them, when we had our contact literally just tell us about these things, It is always best to be on your guard. Yes. How many things have you gone through?
I
Haven't you learned this?
Remind me to never go to wherever you live or your parents' house, because I feel like you're going to. You've never seen a dead body before. All right.
Can we not argue about this? I don't think if you
Breathe.
had knocked, it would have stopped.
This ain't a normal dead body. That's not right.
How did my other two people do on their sanity rolls, real quick?
I succeeded.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I succeeded.
Okay. So, there you go.
I would like to breathe, and then I would like to. Can I kneel by where her head is?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to lick fingers, put my 2 fingers by her temples, and I would like to access my medium powers.
Okay. Which
And
one?
I'm going to look at the 3 ladies, and I'm going to go, all right, buds, just quiet. Everything's fine.
What are you doing?
Everything is fine. Just relax. We were upstairs, downstairs. For all we know, this is a heart attack. This is reaction.
That's not a heart attack.
You do see what she
breathe.
looks like, right?
She's
Yes.
been sucked dry.
This is what was described to us as a non-vampire vampire.
I can see. Vampires, I haven't seen a vampire. Have you seen a vampire? I don't.
Listen, all folklore comes from somewhere.
Relax. Relax. Relax.
I'm
You're
going
up
to-
here. You're at an 11. I need you at like a 5. A full. EV. 4.
I feel like you two are about to fight.
We're breathing.
I'm just gonna step back and just kind of shake my head, and I'm going to kneel down by one of the glints of gold that I saw, and take a look at that while Mr. Sutton doing his thing.
I'm gonna join her.
Okay. Spot hidden checks from the people that are not doing funky stuff, and Mr. Sutton. What are we attempting here?
I'm going to put the forearms together, and I'm going to spread out my hands, and I'm going to see with my medium ability, see if I can communicate with Senora Rizzo.
Okay.
See if I can connect.
Yeah, which skill are you attempting to utilize?
Medium.
Medium. Medium. Got it. Okay.
Push out.
Roll me a d10.
Okay. Just a standard D10.
Yep, first. Yeah.
6.
Okay. And now make me the medium skill check.
Okay. So my medium is about 40,
Okay. We're just looking for a regular success.
and I got a 40.
All right, on the dot, you're just able to make the magical connection. It does cost 1d10 magic points, so go ahead and roll that and subtract that. I think you have, there should be a little like box for magic there.
I have 18.
Okay. Yep.
That's 5.
5. Okay. I believe those regenerate at certain times. I'll need you to double check on that for me.
Sure.
So, you prepare yourself and reach out, making the connection to the residual psychic energy that lingers about Rizzo. And what are you attempting to ask her?
Okay. My eyes are gonna roll to the back of my head,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna reach out to just simple. What happened?
Okay.
What's going on, Rizzo? Senora.
Okay. There is it is a it is a conversation that is covered in flashbacks. You find yourself sort of in her body, in her state, walking down the aisles. Her footsteps are lighter than yours. You immediately feel the difference and recognize sort of what is happening. And there is uh, piles of those sort of file cabinet boxes, those cardboard boxes that she's got one of them and is putting it away, and you can see her tuck a ancient sort of 16th century conquistador journal into her internal coat jacket, and just as she is doing so, there is a loud crash and the sudden pang of agony along her upper shoulders and her head, and you can feel the crunching and the snapping of bones as her neck whips forward and then to the side, and she slumps down onto the floor, her eyes darting around, and the breathing becomes difficult and painful. But she can't move. She can't feel her arms or her legs, and then you move with her eyes as they struggle to peer down, unable to lift her head, looking past her cheeks. There is a sudden sharp agony that stretches from her gullet, from her gut just beneath her ribs, and she starts trying to twist, her muscles twitching, and as she starts to attempt to scream, you see these dark, near black eyes look up and match your own. And at that point, you are physically tossed out of the connection. I would like you to make another sanity check, please.
Okay. While I'm making the sanity check, I would like to say the minute I start feeling any kind of agony or pain, I would start feeling that and vocally like screaming out.
Okay.
And if I could, scream go.
Okay. I would like... go ahead.
And the roll is a success, but
Okay.
barely there.
Okay. So even with a success, you are going to lose 1 point of sanity on this, as you are experiencing the deep trauma that this young woman had just sort of gone through. While he is in a state and before he has begun to scream, the spot hidden checks from Gina and Peggy, how did those do?
A hard success?
Nice.
That's the second one, right?
Yes, that is the second one.
Yes.
Mine was just a standard success.
Okay, great. Still, between that, as Mr. Sutton is performing his ritual, that is a little weird. You all are very carefully sort of sifting through the hay and sifting through the pieces. You do notice that the little piece of gold is actually a oh, I think I did. I should have. Hold on. Did I do cool, fun things? Did I do the goodness? I might have. There it is. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm going to share a picture with you guys in the masks chat for what it in fact is that what that piece is. So there is an image of what the piece of gold looks like, and it is. Oop. Where am I? That's where I'm going. There we go. So it's a single piece of worked gold. It's about 2 feet in length, about 3 inches wide, and about 1/3 of an inch thick. Okay. Both ends are rough, as though it was ripped or broken from a larger piece. It's pretty heavy. It weighs about 25 pounds. So it's a little too heavy to be wielded as like a weapon, unless you're real strong. Like Peggy might be able to whip that bad boy around, but most people aren't going to be able to. It's largely a straight band, and it has. The surface is printed with a series of non-repeating geometric shapes, mostly squares and rectangles with no obvious meaning. None of the shapes resemble any known form of writing. That is that. And with the second success, even without the necessary hard success, you do find tucked in the pocket of the dead Rizzo the journal, the last words of. Make sure I'm using the right one. Gaspar de Figueroa, and where is this? Thank you. And that too is going into the masks chat. Please pin these. I don't know for how long they'll be useful, but in the future, any handouts that I give you guys, you'll probably want to hang on to. You have a moment to kind of look it over. It is written in Spanish from a Spaniard, and I will allow you guys to read that in just a moment. But it is about this moment when Ash begins yelling and crying for you guys to run. I would like just the sudden outburst of a man in the midst of what is clearly some sort of occult ritual is enough to harsh the calm of people that were not expecting the friend to start screaming bloody murder. So I would like all of you to make me one more sanity roll. Thank you. Peggy on the success.
Success.
Success. Everybody
Success.
succeeds. Nice. Sutton, did you succeed the last one I had asked you to make? You did? Okay. So you come back. Everybody has, at the very least, how do you all react when he starts yelling? You are in complete control of your characters, so it is up to you.
I'd imagine I was like crouching,
Yeah.
like looking, and when he jumped, I like kind of like fell forward and like put my hand on my chest, like what?
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. About the same.
Okay.
I feel like we would have, like, Peggy and I would just narrowly, like, missed, like, knocking our heads
Knocking
into
our
each other.
Okay. Absolutely.
And then,
Evie.
go ahead.
go ahead, Eve.
Oh, I would take out my pistol and cover our six and make sure there is no weird person behind us.
Okay. You can make a spot hidden check to scan the area for weird hidden people.
Can I just go? Do you have a gun right now? You have a gun in a library.
I told you libraries are the most dangerous places on earth.
She didn't die from books.
I pull mine out. I pull mine out.
Everyone has a gun.
Having a gun in a library.
Everyone has a gun. Peggy, do you have a gun?
I feel like I'm the only one that doesn't have a gun.
I'm
Do
gonna
I
give
need a
her
gun?
my gun. I'm gonna go. All right, now you have a gun.
Now I have a gun. What is going on?
I don't. I'm
Why are we
figuring it
screaming?
out. What is it? I'm gonna lower my tone. Everyone, just be quiet.
You're the one screaming bloody murder in here.
I couldn't help that. I was regardless, you have my gun, she has a gun, and she has a gun. Everyone,
What are you gonna do with these
we're
shit
at an
buttons?
11. I need us, everyone at a 5.
Mr.
5?
11, I need you to go down.
I'm at a
Further.
5. I'm at a 5, love.
I was taught never to pull out a gun unless I was at a 2.
2? What? You're slightly like what? You eat something slightly spicy and you pull out a 2? No, everyone just.
These numbers are just getting confusing. What the fuck is going on?
Everyone just breathe.
So we are breathing. What were you doing that made you scream?
I was channeling. I can sometimes channel and feel emotions and feelings of others.
But that's not real.
I mean, he
screamed,
started
love.
screaming for no reason,
very
so
real.
maybe.
Isn't your photograph real? Yeah. This is your photograph, only you're not taking the picture, love. You're right there.
Okay, so what you're doing is real. What made you scream?
I'm gonna breathe. I felt pain.
Pain.
Okay. Death isn't very peaceful as ones will feel. Yeah.
I look at her and I don't think her death was peaceful at all.
One could wonder why. We know that death is painful. Why would you ask us to run, though? Obviously, she didn't die of natural causes, like Peggy just said.
No, it was a knee-jerk reaction. Poindexter, yeah. Just give me a moment, yeah?
Right, which is why I brought out my gun to protect you.
What, you were going to shoot the book?
You think the book did this to her?
Yes.
What?
You think a book did this to her?
All right. Everyone
No.
just...
Breathe.
No. Don't
said-
breathe. Everyone's breathing, yeah? Books
left you.
are...
Except for her.
Right.
She's not.
I'm gonna
So
put
this-
my forearms together and show the seal of Benedict.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go, this isn't from just reading books, yeah.
I imagine it's from an artist.
No. I've seen evil. Evil has laughed back at my face. Yeah. Books are more powerful than just written words. They're more than just feeling of they're communicative.
This
Anything
book?
I've yelled while trying to see what this poor fucking girl,
So
has felt.
you felt and you saw. What'd you see?
Pain.
You saw
Death.
pain.
This girl
Where-
didn't bloody fucking read a book and then just fell dead.
What did this to her, then? What caused the pain to her?
Did
remember
you
a
see
set-
what caused it?
A set of eyes beneath what is hair. Black hair. You saw basically the top of a head.
Yeah. I would like to communicate that to the group. I saw hair, I saw eyes, and I felt the last moments of this young senorita's life before being cold. Everything is so fucking cold. I'm gonna get up, and then I'd like to go to the side and immediately just start smoking a cigarette to calm down.
Okay. For clarity, if as you are attempting to communicate this, so that I am sure that Cody did not miscommunicate anything.
Sure.
So she finds the journal. She is struck from behind by what you assume is probably that large crate, something very heavy. Her neck is broken, and that's why she can't move or really look around. And sort of the last thing before the connection breaks is down around her abdomen. You can see the top of a head, and then when it looks up, that's when your connection is broken.
Correct. That's what I would communicate, and I would also close her eyes.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that is me attempting to make sure I have clearly explained.
Is there anyone else around us? I succeeded on my spot hidden check.
No, there is. You guys are the only ones down here.
Okay.
I will, I'll kind of kneel down again, and I'm gonna look for this journal.
Okay. You have the journal.
See if
Yeah.
I see it anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The journal is the what I posted in the chat.
Yes.
So that is the important entry of the journal.
I will. I would open it up.
Do
and
you speak
attempt-
Spanish?
I have it. Yeah, that's my other language. I have
Okay.
a chance to. Do you
Then
want
yeah.
me to roll for that?
Yes, please. Yeah. Because here's the thing, it's not modern Spanish either. It's Spanish from the 16th century.
1643.
Yeah, so I'm gonna need you to make a hard Spanish check.
And yeah, unfortunately, it's a success, but it's not a hard success.
So I'm gonna maybe you get like the broad strokes of it. You can pick up the names. You can pick up like specific words, right? Luxury, structure, tunnels, complaining, hunger. You recognize hunger gets said a couple of times. Figueroa, you can recognize those names. There's some details and context that are being missed about it. But if no one is more proficient in Spanish, you at the very least know you have help upstairs.
Yeah. I'm gonna look up at everybody with the journal. We need to take this upstairs right away, and hopefully, there isn't the same fate. Up
Should,
there.
We need to call the police.
Should we make... What? Had be a person, right?
What else would it be? A book, maybe. But
You don't think they're still here?
I looked as best I could. Seems we're the only souls down here.
Sounds like it's not a sold thing that we're to be scared of.
Right. Anyway, I think we should go back upstairs to Professor Sanchez and Mr. Elias and phone the police and have them come and check out the crime scene because obviously something happened to kill her.
But tell them there's a body down here amongst books. Yeah? This isn't a heart attack or a stroke.
Which is why police should be involved.
Well, let's at least go upstairs and let them know what happened. And then we can go from there.
Sure.
They'll know the best what to do around here and what's going to be the safest. And police aren't always the safest.
Okay. As you guys make your way out of the archives, down the corridor of foreboding swinging lamps, and you make your way up the stairs, you I would like you make me listen checks.
You want all of us?
Yeah, everybody can make a listen check. Yeah, go for it.
How's that work if you don't have anything in it?
There a percentage listed just at the end of the thing? I think it's 20. Yeah, so you're rolling for 20.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to fill in the other numbers, you can still get like a hard or an extreme success. You just fill in the number that is there. So.
Oh, okay.
I got an extreme success.
Nice.
Definitely a fail.
Okay.
Your brain's still out of it.
I'm looking to see if I can spend some... I just didn't remember how the...
I believe you can spend some luck to have advantage, basically.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. How many points of luck do I need to spend? Looks like... Sorry, I had it bookmarked.
Yeah.
Looks like... Spend that and roll that.
Well, don't leave us in suspense. Tell us the amount. We were waiting with bated breath.
Ooh, okay, that's real good. I can't find the exact number, but I know you're right.
You just gain a bonus die to your listen roll. So that's all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just have advantage with it. So you got a success?
Yeah, I got a success.
Great. So people that succeeded, you can hear, Jackson telling somebody, here, just, you got to put pressure on it. All right, just keep breathing. Well, now, what the hell happened? It sounds like he's at the top of the stairs.
Well, I mega failed that check, so...
It sounds like someone's in trouble. We should hustle. So I start hastening up the stairs.
Great.
Not running.
With purpose up the stairs, gun in hand, Evie goes. You guys leaving her on her own, or are you trying to stick with her?
Right behind her.
Okay. I would like you guys to make a luck check. I'm looking for a hard luck success.
Mine is just a regular success.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Another big fail.
Okay, so with some regular successes, you guys come bounding up the stairs. It does the back and forth up. You hit the landing. You come up. You see Jackson hunched over one of the museum security guards, who has a wound, sort of just below his ribs, and he's got his hand pressed onto it. And he is talking very quickly. And I believe Jackson does speak Spanish, but he's not like super fluent in it. And it's the fact that this guy is in such a like panicked state that he's like, he said somebody stabbed him from behind. We just heard him yelling out here. I came to check and see what was going on. And about this point, you hear glass shatter. And a gasping yell from Sanchez's room.
I draw my gun at this point and run in the direction of Sanchez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
As you guys take off running in that direction, you see him. You find him writhing in agony on the floor, unable. He is coughing, hacking, as though he is starting to trying to vomit, and you can see this rancid, sort of white, waxy, slime-like substance all around his mouth and his lips, and he is coughing out. It kissed me. It kissed me. And I believe that is where we are going to end our adventure for this evening.
Guess he had the murder empanadas.
There are no empanadas. I am so sorry, my friends. There are no empanadas.
Never came.
No.
The empanadas never came.
I hate
had-
those.
He
Burger
had the
empanadas.
murder empanadas. Totally, like, overrated.
Of course, yeah.
The filling wasn't murder and cheese. It was actually like strawberry and cream cheese.
There it is. There it is.
Hate that.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for sticking with us, for playing with us. So this is going to be our Saturday night game for a while going forward. We may run a little later. We may start a little later, depending on how schedules go. I hope you all had a great time. I'm glad you guys got to take your first stuttering steps into the world of mythos and all of those things. If you succeeded on any skill check that you made tonight, on a skill check, if you succeeded a specific skill check, so any of the spot hiddens, the medium check, any of those things, make sure you check that box. And that means that when we have downtime, you will have the opportunity to attempt to improve attempt to improve that skill, which I think is pretty cool. On a successful use,
Yeah, it lets you roll And then depending on what you roll, you can.
Right. During downtimes,
yeah.
if you roll above your skill, you can roll a d10 and then add that onto it. I was double checking how you gain Cthulhu, the phonetically appropriate way to say Cthulhu. Cthulhu.
Any experience with the supernatural, up to you. You can say if that requires a check mark or not.
Yes. Encounters with the mythos result in insanity by insane insights, true nature of the universe. Yeah, I think so. Characters' sanity may never be higher than 99. Yeah, I think we're gonna award a mythos point or two here. So I'm gonna read about that in as we go into the downtime. Thank you. Nope, you're wrong. That's not how it's pronounced. Phonetically, it is CT first, followed by
Cthulhu.
who, and then there's another H that everybody forgets. Who, so Cthulhu. And if you think that that is wrong, I would like to remind you that it is making you mad and thus accomplishing the true task of the names of the great old ones. So
For what it's worth, the luck is on page 60 of the book, and you adjust
I was just
skill.
gonna say that.
You just-
Cthulhu.
Skill rolls 1 for 1 for points.
yes,
So it is not advantage for the luck points.
right. No.
Because remember, you had it.
Go ahead.
Didn't you have her roll it with advantage
She
to
has.
use her luck?
She has. So you may not have taken them. They for the pulp characters they have things. What are they called? They have talents. All the pulp characters have
Right.
random talents. She has the talent Keen Hearing, which gives her a bonus die.
Got it.
Some of the pulp talents allow you to spend luck. For instance, Iron Liver. You may spend 5 luck points to avoid the effects of drinking excessive amounts of alcohol.
Got
Right.
it.
So, that is that's where that was coming from. For the pulp, there are lots of interesting ways to use luck. So first night wasn't real worried about it. You guys are going to start to rely more on luck to hit successes and to survive things. You can also use them to reduce sanity damage on a 2-to-1 basis. Hit points, I think,
And just not die.
Just not die. Yeah, you can do
Yeah,
that.
you have to spend all your luck points and you won't die.
Yep. And I am thinking what might be a fun thing for our viewers at home is for bits and channel point redemptions to give characters luck points. That could be a fun way for them to recover their luck. So anyway, we are going to say goodnight. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We will see you all next time. But until then, be cool.